Hey there, nerdpreneurs. Welcome back to Market Like a Nerd. And get ready to geek out with me because today I'm joined by happiness architect Jennifer Dunham. Whoop, whoop. Hey, Jennifer. Welcome to Nerdpreneur Nation.
Hey, Amanda. Great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So we are super stoked to have you, obviously. And for everyone who is listening, today we're going to be talking about how to go from burnout to enjoying the process of making profits. So first, let me tell you a little bit more about Jennifer, and then we'll talk about her tips for enjoying the process to profits. As a happiness lifestyle architect and founder of Happiness Matters, Jennifer Dunham helps driven professionals learn how to not only love their success and career, but also fully love their lives. Happiness plays a huge role in your health and your wealth. Jennifer's approach is rooted in her information technology background. She's a huge believer in automation, habits, repeatable processes, and streamlining time to reduce overwhelm so you can focus on what matters most. You will hear her say structure equals freedom. I agree. Her coaching programs are designed for ambitious professionals and entrepreneurs who look like they have it all and have it all together, but are barely keeping the juggling act going. Sound familiar, guys? To help her clients find and create their own versions of happiness, Jennifer uses a unique system aptly named the Happy Formula. As a cancer survivor, Jen knows life is short, and she doesn't want you to get cancer to realize that too. So if you're ready to refocus your life and your career, ditch the excuses, and do the work to make the changes you need to be happier, then get ready for this episode. Last little bit here about Jennifer. When she isn't working, you gotta know, you'll find her hiking with her hubby Corey, playing with their two kitties. Get this, Zipper and Velcro, best names ever, or gardening and tending to their small chicken farm in the Sierra foothills in Northern California. Alrighty, you sound so cool, girl.
Thanks.
So that's the overview of her story and biography, but I want you to get to know the real Jennifer. So before we get into the meat of today's episode, let's have some fun. You ready, Jen?
I am. Let's hit it.
All right, you live on a farm, and your
Yes.
profile picture on Facebook has a chicken in it. So I gotta know, what's your thought? Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with the egg.
But
I'm
what
just gonna go with the egg. There's no good answer on this one, so I'm just going with the egg.
All right. Now, I know you have an IT background, and you're also a cancer survivor. So I'm curious, who has to wait longer, a hospital patient or an IT customer?
Oh, unfortunately, hospital patients. They wait forever. I hate going there.
Yeah, me too. Basically, unless I'm dying, you're not going to see me in there.
Right, I know. I just hate going there. The wait is awful.
And that's why kids are just like the worst, because when they get just like a little bit sick, you're like, oh, I have to take them because if I don't and then something happens, I'll regret it forever. So then you take them to the hospital and you wait hours and then of course they're fine.
Yes, exactly. I hate going there.
Now, as a happiness architect, would you rather have the designs to your husband Corey's heart or the blueprints to his mind?
Oh, I'm going to have to go with the heart.
Oh, you sap you.
His mind is probably way too complicated, and it's just going to confuse me, so forget it.
Oh, that's the complete opposite of my husband. There's nothing going on up there. I love you, honey, but every time I ask, what are you thinking? His answer is always nothing. He's never thinking anything.
That's funny.
In honor of your two kitties, would you rather get stuck in a zipper or wrapped up in Velcro?
Oh, wrapped up in Velcro. At least it doesn't hurt.
And finally, and most importantly, I know you love birds, so please finish us off by sharing your best bird call impression.
Oh, this is going to be so sad. I can't even give you one because I can't even whistle.
You can't whistle?
I can't whistle. And trust me, this is something that you're born with. It's not something you can learn. I cannot whistle. It's sad. So I can't even give you, like I can give you a bark, 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 bark. I can't give you anything else.
Chirp, 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 chirp.
I can give you that, but I can't whistle. I can't do a phone call.
Oh my God. That's the best. Thank you so much. Sad but funny. I enjoy it. Thank you. Let's get down to business though, okay? So,
okay, let's get to it.
Jennifer, you told me you were going to share with us today how you went from burnout to finally enjoying the process of making profits. So
Sure.
let's dive in. Can you get a little OCD with us? Break it down into your 5 main steps or tips that you have for us today.
Sure. Well, I have 5 tips I'm going to give you, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on how I got there in the first place. Which, to share a little bit, going back to the cancer story, I wanted to share that I was actually hit by a drunk driver, went through a divorce, and had cancer all in the same summer.
Oh, fun.
And yeah, so I call that my crappy summer. And what's funny is you would think I would learn, like I would completely change my life with that. But I didn't. Well, I mean, I did for a while. But then you kind of start to go back to your old routines and you fall back onto those old patterns. And for me, I'm kind of a workaholic. Like I love what I do. So I'm working all the time. I'm married again. And believe it or not, my husband and I were having this conversation about like when we're going to retire in the future. And we were sitting outside at this house. We lived in the suburbs. And the dogs next door were barking, and that would just always just irritate him so badly. He hated sitting in our backyard. So finally, when the dogs were barking, and he just had enough, and he storms inside, slams the door, and I thought, oh my gosh, this can't go on. We're already arguing. Like I was afraid I was on the path to yet another divorce, which who wants that on their shoulders? And who wants to start over yet again? And so I went inside. I said, we've got to make a change. Like something's got to happen. So we decided that night to move. Like we've always wanted to live on some land and live away from the suburbs. So we made a decision. 7 days later, we made an offer on a house that we fell in love and found this place that we're at now and absolutely love it. And within 30 days, we had moved. And within like weeks after that, all my friends and family were asking me like, what are you taking? Because you're so much happier now. Like what magic pill or magic elixir? And it was kind of funny because I'm like, I'm not taking anything. I swear, I promise. And so then the IT girl in me was like, oh, well, I must have a process. Like what's the difference? And literally I tell people I learned more about happiness and how to elevate my happiness on a daily basis from drinking coffee with my chickens than I did from that bad, crappy summer.
Yeah.
So my 5 steps has to do with the tiny power and leveraging the tiny power of what I call happiness habits or habits in general to really rekindle and rewire those neural pathways in your brain. They exist, but we just all get so busy in our day-to-day life that I think, Amanda, I was telling you not too long back that it takes 3 times as many positive experiences to outweigh like the negative things in our brain. And as human beings, we're flight or fight. So those are very stressful, anxious things. So those are already like, we easily let that go into our brains, but the positive stuff takes work.
Yeah.
And so I tell people like learning to be happier and taking and infusing that into your business, it takes practice. It takes a conscious effort, just like, yoga and learning to sing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember we have a similar life story. I remember when I was hit by the car and that summer I was raped and I went to, school and I was bullied for being king girl and being prego. And I remember when all of that happened to me, I was just down at my ultimate low. And when I finally made the decision to shift my life from that, just sadness and that trauma into a happier life, it had to be intentional. It had to be conscious. And it wasn't easy, but it was all about the habits of, for me at least, it was consciously recognizing when I was falling into old patterns and consciously recognizing when negative things were interrupting me and my mental space, and then making the conscious decision to not be negative about them, to turn it into a positive. It is a very conscious effort.
Oh my goodness, we're going to be talking number 4. We're going to be talking about that.
Oh yay! All right, well, take it away. What's number 1?
Okay, so number 1, I'm going to actually give you number 1 and number 5, just because they're kind of similar. But I tell people to start their day happy and end their day happy. So start and end the day happy, because I mean, if you can't, when you wake up, for example, and I always encourage people too, because I do a lot of habit training, like how to create habits that stick for your personality. And this is a technique that works for most people, and I can't necessarily take credit for it, but it's called habit stacking.
Oh, I
And
like that.
yeah, so and what I tell people is to stack a new habit next to a habit you already have, because it's easier to make a routine that way. So when you brush your teeth, like everybody, knock on wood, let's hope, because I always yell at my husband, go brush your teeth. But when you brush your teeth in the morning, or like if you're getting dressed, or if you feed the cats, like some habit you already do every day, to insert the habit of starting your day happy. And now for different people, that's different things. And I'm not trying to get all woo woo or anything like that. I mean, because some people I work with, they just want more tangible, like, how do I do this actions. Sometimes I tell people, put a sticky note on the mirror in your bathroom, and all it says is, like, maybe grab a quote off of Facebook or the internet, some quote that you like, and write it on a sticky note and let it be there all week long. And every morning while you brush your teeth, you read that quote. Or it could be something as simple as like telling yourself, like if I have a meeting, like I'm doing a presentation, I tell myself, you know what, it's going to be as good and awesome as it's going to be. Like even if I stumble and fumble words, it's like, it's going to be great. The outcome will be great.
Oh, kind of like I didn't realize this is what I was doing, but I guess that's what I was doing. There was a point in my life when I was like, I feel like when you're like married for a while, things kind of like get monotonous, and then you kind of like, you have to rekindle the fire. So I was like, I want to make a conscious effort to rekindle the fire, make it feel like, like we just met each other again. So I almost always, one of the first things I do in the morning is I get onto the phone, and I usually start with client work in the morning, where I'm going and I'm like voxering clients, or like I'm texting, or I'm like on Facebook with my clients. And I was like, I'm already on the phone. So an easy thing that I could do is, the first thing that I can do in the morning is I can send my husband a message saying that I love him and like, good morning. Love note. Yeah.
Yep. That's a great way to start your day. And so that's an example of start happy. So if you choose something to start happy, likewise, at the end of the day, when it's part of, let's say, your evening routine, like putting on your PJs, or again, brushing your teeth, or like every day when I get home, depending on which one of us gets home first, if we've been out and about, like we always hug each other. It never fails. Like we always hug each other, and that's just a habit that we've built. But if you build a habit, again, next to another one, end your day with appreciation. And I choose the word appreciation over the word gratitude, because gratitude, like, let's be honest, when you're having a really crappy day, like it's hard to be thankful.
Yeah.
Sometimes, right? So thankful is can be like, oh my gosh, I just can't be thankful today.
Yeah.
But you could probably appreciate something about the day, even if it's the blue sky or the smell of bacon or whatever the case may be. You can appreciate something. So if you start your day happy, number 1, and number 5, end your day happy. Those are 2 of my 5 things that I tell people to do to be happier in 5 minutes a day or less. Starting happy is 30 seconds. Ending your day is happy is 30 seconds. That's 1 minute of your life in your day. And you can't tell me that you don't have that much time in your day.
Right. And it's going to create such a big domino effect in your life and in your business. I mean, I know in the past when I was in a business that didn't make me happy, and one of the first habits I did when I woke up was to go into my email, into my like virtual assistant inbox, and check on like the emails from my business partner. And I was really unhappy in that partnership. Of course, if that's the first thing I was doing every morning, it meant the entire rest of the day I was unhappy, because it started me off in an unhappy mood. That's not a good way to start your day.
No, never. Right. So consciously start your day happy, end your day happy.
Love it.
Number 2, and this is going to be a tough one for people, embrace silence.
Oh, that's easy for me.
60 seconds. 60 seconds. I'm saying 1 minute as an activity. Like when I do this when I'm in the car, because I usually drive somewhere every day, and I don't turn the radio on, and I actually enjoy what's around me, like enjoy the sights and the sounds. Like you could go for a walk and just, don't take your phone, or at least leave it in your pocket for 60 seconds. With technology, everybody's so connected that it's really hard. Like my husband gets in the car when we go to drive, the first thing he does is he turns on the radio. And it took a lot of me like turning it off, like for him to finally understand, like, you know what, it's okay to be like, to let it be a little calmer and like embrace silence.
Yeah. Actually, I remember in high school, and when I was in high school, I was gothic. I was like one of those gothic punk rock kids where I was getting these black change jeans from Hot Topic with I had like dyed black hair, and I always had headphones with me, and I was always listening to rock music. And I remember my English teacher, who was like super hard ass. I remember my English teacher saying to me one day, Amanda, you got to take those headphones off. You're missing so much in the world.
So
and
much.
I know, and I remember the moment that she said that because it really impacted me. So I remember making a more conscious effort from that day on to not always have my headphones on, to actually take things in around me. Sometimes it's hard to do it because you have the devices right near you.
Yep.
And so what I have found can help, so I guess this is like maybe a sub tip from what you've said to help you enjoy the silence, is to remove the distractions so that they don't even so that they don't even you don't even have like the urge
Yep.
to distract yourself with them. So for example, sometimes at dinner, I will actually give my husband my phone, and I'll say, hey, can you take this so that I can be present
Smart.
at dinner? And I give him the distraction so that I don't even have to worry about it. I know I'm not going to look at my phone because I don't even have it.
That's super smart. And it's related to number 3, which is make contact. And what I mean by that is most people, I mean, you take a walk, you walk into the sidewalks, you walk through a restaurant, you walk through any corporate building in America, and you see people, they're walking and they're texting at the same time. Like, like people are going to get run over because they're not paying attention. And so I encourage people, yet again, it doesn't take but maybe 1 minute of your day, is make the conscious effort to make eye contact. And it could be with strangers. Like, look up when you're in an elevator. Look up when you're like walking to the mailbox. Notice the neighbor that's outside. And so it kind of goes all back with the technology. And again, because it's funny coming from an IT girl, where like technology has great advantages, and then technology has also brought us some disadvantages. And the elevation of your happiness, in some ways, technology has done some disservice. And so this is where, like, when I tell people to embrace silence and to make contact, make eye contact, it's really about putting that stuff down and really being present.
Yeah, so basically, I guess we're giving you guys permission. Once this episode is over, hang tight, listen to the rest of this episode. When the episode's over, you have my permission to put my podcast down and go and make contact with someone. Give them eye contact, put the phone away, put the podcast away.
Yes.
but not till this episode's over.
Right, exactly. And then so number 4, which is something that you touched upon, Amanda, when you were talking about your bad years, was reframing negative self-talk. So for example, like you were mentioning how you were consciously having to catch yourself doing that. And I have exercises when I work with my clients that we specifically work through writing those things down and make them more conscious of when they have those negative things. And so reframing your self-talk, what I encourage is, like 30 seconds, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So like 90 seconds for the whole day. At breakfast, think about, was there anything leading up till breakfast or leading up till lunch that like started to weigh on your shoulder? When you start to feel that worry or that, that angst and the anxiousness, like start writing it down. And after a week, and you start figuring out what maybe some of those negative patterns are, is to reframe it into positive language. And as an example, again, because I'm, one of my own worst clients in the sense that I'm a workaholic, I love what I do. So I've really had to reframe. One of the things I always used to say was, my time is so limited. My time is so limited. And that already feels negative.
Yeah.
And so what I try to tell myself, what I caught myself when I'm saying that is my time is precious. And when I say it like that, it makes it so that I'm more accepting of how I'm choosing to spend my time.
Yeah, it's a much more expansive and empowered way to phrase that. I love that.
Yep. My time is precious.
Yeah.
And all of these things, all 5 of these exercises are meant to elevate. First of all, you become a little bit more mindful, a little bit more present. But by doing so, when you elevate your personal happiness, there's so many studies that show, first of all, you're healthier, right? But it also improves your relationships and you're more productive. You're more focused.
I bet there's less bedside regrets.
Oh, completely.
Death bedside. You know what I mean. Less regrets when you die.
That's right. And that's one of my huge mantras is like, what are you waiting for? Like, you don't want those regrets. So when you can elevate your focus, your productivity, your creativity, eventually what you're ultimately raising is your success. And when I work with entrepreneurs and corporate professionals, like, everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to make more money, but sometimes they forget to go back and look at that foundation, which I call that the happiness level is your foundation. And if you can't take 5 minutes a day to elevate your happiness, I mean, who can't commit to 5 minutes a day?
Yeah. I love this too, especially in this niche with entrepreneurs, business owners. We often put a lot of pressure on ourselves to reach our desired outcomes, to get to our goals, to be successful, to make money, to increase our profits. We put so much pressure on ourselves to do those things, and we often forget to enjoy the process of making them happen. And that's what life is for. Life is for the process. You know, when you look back on your entrepreneurial career, is it going to be with a sense of bitterness? Is it going to be with a sense of exhaustion? Is it going to, or are you going to look back on it and really enjoy the moments?
Yep.
Now, I know that sounds a little cliche, but come on, guys. You want to enjoy the process of making profit, because that's what working smarter is all about. Working smarter is about ditching the burnout, screwing the hustle, and creating a business that is not just profitable, but also balanced and happy. And Jennifer here is definitely hands down the best person to talk to about having a happy business. So I'm just going to recap her tips here for a second, and then Jennifer has some goods for you guys. So just to recap, start your day happy is tip number 1. Number 2 is embrace silence. It is golden, I swear. Number 3, make contact. Lift your head up. Make eye contact with people. Number 4, reframe your self-talk. Create the habit of turning a negative into a positive. And number 5, end your day happy. You can do this in just 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes a day can make you so much happier, not just as a businesswoman, businessman, but as a person.
Yep.
So thank you so much for that, Jennifer, first of all.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know how much I love this topic.
I know, it's so near and dear to my heart too, so it's awesome.
Cool. Now for the nerdpreneurs who are listening, who want to get an A+ for effort and are going to take that extra step to look you up, can you make it a little bit easier on them? Where can they find you online? I know you have an event that you're hosting here soon that I'm actually going to speak on. Very excited. Can you talk about it?
Excited. Sure. So you can find me at happinessmatters.com. And I'm so excited to have you speak at my upcoming summit, which is, here's the name, I love it, Dodge the Dark Side of Success.
Ooh.
And it's where 22 top influencers are going to shine a light on how to enjoy the moments on the messy path to making millions, because it's not always easy. And even though in today's world of hearing a lot about that, income claim marketing of, 4, 5, 6-figure launches, it's a lot of pressure for entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have a great panel, a great amount of influencers that they're going to share, they're going to share some of that dark side moments for themselves, and they're going to share how they have enjoyed the moments. And so we're going to extract out of them, I'm going to pull out of them their happiness habits so that everyone can use them to their advantage. And that is going to be, to invite everybody to watch the telesummit, is successdarkside.com.
Love it. All right, successdarkside.com. The reason why I'm really excited to be on this, by the way, guys, is because I find that these conversations, talking about the dark side of success, talking about the messy moments on the path to making millions, the messy moments on the path to reaching your goals and being successful. These are the conversations that normalize the experience for other people, that humanize it for other people. Yep. I find in the business, marketing, entrepreneurial world, we tend to look at these influencers, look at these millionaires, these billionaires, and put them on pedestals and and tell ourselves these stories about how they're better than, they're more successful than, when in reality, they're people just like you and me, having experiences just like you and me. I love sharing the stuff that I've done wrong. I love sharing the messy parts of my business. I love sharing the journey. Because if you can connect with me in my journey and you realize I'm a human and I'm normal, then it becomes so much easier for you to believe that you can be where I am, that you can have the success that I have.
Yep. And being, again, coming from that IT, we always do lessons learned, at the end of a big project. And if you can't learn from other people's mistakes, I mean, that can, one, it helps your confidence and it helps you to avoid those mistakes. And I know that I work with people that, because again, I'm technical, so I can help people build their business. But the problem is I usually make them step back and they build that foundation first. And then I, like when I first explain why, they're like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like if I could get my hands on every single entrepreneur as they're building their business to put this foundation of happiness in before they all of a sudden find themselves at that edge of burnout, that I would love to do that. And that's what this summit hopefully will help.
Oh, yes, absolutely. My virtual assistant business that I grew, I did not grow with the Happiness Foundation. And so, of course, that business landed in burnout. But then my coaching business, I started from scratch with the happiness concept in place, like right away in the very beginning. And of course, it's been just an amazing journey because I started with the foundation in place first. So guys, head on over to successdarkside.com and register to join join this series, Dodge the Dark Side of Success, where 22 top influencers shine a light on how to enjoy the moments on the messy path to making millions. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, and thank you guys for listening. We hope you learned a lot. We can't wait to hear where these tips take you. And we'll catch you next time on Market Like a Nerd. Have a nerd-tastic day, guys. Bye.
Bye.